Hi, everybody, and welcome to Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden. I'm your host, Jeanniey Walden, and I'm so excited to bring you this amazing lifestyle show that's built exactly for you, the modern executive. We've got incredible guests lined up today, so let's get started.
All right, everybody, you're going to be blown away by this one. So get your notebooks out because you're going to be writing down everything you hear. Vinnie Potestivo is an Emmy Award winning media expert. He was at the early days of MTV, for those of you old enough to remember that, like I do, and is responsible for bringing so many stars and so many shows to life, like the Osbournes, like the Housewives. He moved into Bravo. He did so many incredible things to the point where the world of business finally caught up to the world of consumer and begged him to come in and help with some amazing business and brand initiatives, especially at LinkedIn. We're going to talk to Vinny today about what he's doing with the LinkedIn network and how you can become a LinkedIn expert too. Vinny, welcome to
Oh
Liftoff.
my gosh, thanks for that kind. The stars got bigger, the universe got bigger. There's more space for us in media now than ever. What a
Well, who
cool
knew
walk.
that a business person like me could be a star like the Osbournes?
25, that's what a good complimentary comparison. 25, 30 years ago, when I would tell people I was in talent development, I would get a shrug of the shoulders. Now, the biggest companies have talent development executives. It's HR. It's looking for talent that doesn't just qualify as artistic, creative talent and really taps into the ether of who we are promised to be. And to develop that has been a journey.
It's funny that you said that because I was just talking to an HR leader
Yeah.
about the fact that her role is looking for the future stars of the company. And she was asking, what do we need to be looking for from social ambassadors and brand ambassadors? And it's so important in any line of
Oh,
business
yeah.
these days. That's how
Oh,
recruiting's done.
longevity, creativity, innovation, disruption.
Yeah,
Like, right. I
so
hope those
many.
were some of the alchemy of what you create. Look, I got to work with Nick Cannon as he graduated from Nickelodeon to MTV, and his job was supposed to be to host TRL to replace Carson Daly on Total Request Live. But he had a vision for this show called Wild 'N Out. He saw it as an opportunity to create conversation that the community wasn't having anywhere in media. And I think we just hit 21 seasons. They just got double NAACP status for outstanding reality programming. The Challenge is still on there. The Housewives on Bravo is still. I mean, these are franchises that have grown into
Yeah,
way bigger than just series
yeah.
and put all those platforms on the map. They all became collaborative platforms, not just media brands. And
Well,
that's
you're
the
now
power of
you're
advertising.
doing your magic now with LinkedIn as a platform. And
Yeah.
that's funny how we met
Yeah.
through a guest that was on the show. So I know firsthand that LinkedIn is great for business networking, even when you don't expect it. But you're like the king of LinkedIn and
Ah,
how to do it the right way. And in my conversations with you, I've learned that I'm doing it partially right. So for everyone who's watching and
yeah.
everyone who's listening, tell us the top three things we need to know about being a LinkedIn superstar.
Oh my God. First off, I give you permission to show up on that platform as you. Don't listen to how much reach you get per day or what you should or shouldn't be doing. Just this year, I was named a top voice on the platform, which is a really a high honor from the platform, considering that it's the editorial team that physically picks about 250 people globally to be a top voice on a platform that's known to be B2B. Where now more than ever it's B2C, H to H, human to human, where content really reigns supreme. Okay, a couple of things to answer your question. Newsletters work well on this platform because Microsoft built LinkedIn. Microsoft owns ChatGPT. ChatGPT pulls its answers from Bing. So everything I do on LinkedIn doesn't stay in LinkedIn. It actually feeds to a much bigger data ecosystem. It comes from LinkedIn that has high domain authority, and that helps us with our leadership. Also, LinkedIn Audio. I love that there's a tool within LinkedIn that allows anybody with access to a microphone to join the conversation. And that for us as leaders, I think the number one way to demonstrate leadership is to support the conversation. So not only do we get to ask better and great questions, but we get to support them with our own answers, our own voice in an ecosystem where we know who we're talking to because they've been verified as real people. Unlike other, I'm not poo-pooing other platforms, but you can be a version of yourself on Insta. You can be a completely different thing on TikTok.
Yes.
On LinkedIn, I know who you are, I know who you worked with, I know where you work. There's social accountability, there's fiscal accountability, it's real opportunity.
Well, it's a fascinating conversation. I know everybody is probably furiously writing notes, and now they're in between
Uh,
going to LinkedIn and trying to
yeah,
type in and check their
yeah.
profiles. So this has been a great conversation. I'm sure everyone has a thousand questions for you. Thank you so much for being on the
My
show.
pleasure, my honor.
This was so great, everybody. Were you just not completely enthralled by everything that Vinny had to say? We've got so much more insights and information coming up, so stay tuned.
Teddy Droseros is the founder and CEO of Grateful Peoples, a nonprofit organization bringing the power of gratitude to the classroom and beyond. Teddy believes that solutions to our biggest problems are much simpler than we realize. And I am so excited to have him with us on Liftoff because his message is going to give you goosebumps and inspire you all at the same time. Teddy, welcome to Liftoff.
Thank you for having me, Jeannie.
So, Teddy, we've been talking a little bit before this interview, but overall, in all the research that I've done about you, about your program, the company, what you're doing is so fascinating. But I think our viewers would first love to know a little bit about what Grateful Peoples is and then what inspired you to start your company, gosh, almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's been almost 10 years. And ultimately what Grateful Peoples is just a way for me to get the people around me to practice gratitude. And I was inspired from my own experience keeping a gratitude journal. I was in my early 20s and I just started asking a bunch of questions about how I was spending my time each day. And I got really into kind of just bettering myself and getting the most out of each day. And one of the things I came across was keeping a gratitude journal and just, writing down 3 positive thoughts every day. And there was all this research about how it can impact your brain and even your physical health as well. So, long story short, I got into it, I went to Staples, bought a notebook and left it by my bedside. And every night before bed, I would write down 3 things I was grateful for almost 4 years. And I really think it rewired my brain permanently to just experience life differently. And, the thing that it ultimately made me want to share with others is when I realized, through writing down my grateful thoughts that the best thing, the quote unquote worst thing to ever happen to me was also the best thing that's ever happened to me, and that's my mom's sickness growing up. So she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was just a baby, and that was just my normal growing up. And when I got deep into gratitude, I came to understand that it was also my biggest blessing because of the lessons that it's taught me. And being able to shift my perspective on something seemingly so dark and that created a lot of pain for my mom and my family, and look now being able to look at it as something very light. It changes how I think about everything else in life, and that's how keeping a gratitude journal changed my life. It just changed the way I think about things. And that's that simple thing is what inspired me to want to share it with others.
So I have so many questions that come off of that. And I have to
Yeah.
just ask you the first one. So you start writing in the gratitude journal, and uh, did you see a change right away? Did you think, oh, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? Did it take a while? Or was it just something that you said, look, I'm going to do this for a month, 2 months, regardless, just to see what happens?
No, I didn't have any expectations about it. I just was like, I'm gonna do this and see what happens. And I'm not the best at creating new habits, and for whatever reason, it literally stuck with me overnight. And I did it every night before bed. And the idea of being able to shift how I think about my mom's sickness, it definitely took some time to get there. I'd say a few years of practicing gratitude daily, but I have a very specific experience, within the first 2 weeks of being on my way to work, and like I feel like I was the spectator watching my mind just react to something differently about this group project at work that was just causing me a lot of stress. I remember I was living in New York City and I was coming up from the subway, and it was just this really profound experience where like my mind defaulted to being positive about the situation versus negative that you may be when you're really stressed out about something. So yeah, even after a couple of weeks, I was like, wow, there's something to this, and it inspired me to keep going with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Grateful Peoples works with kids in the classroom, which I think is so cool. Tell us more about that and why you chose to work with kids instead of just talking about gratitude for all of us grown-ups that are in the workplace, because we all certainly could use it. And
Yeah.
I would love to know about something that's happened in the classroom that's been a really inspiring experience.
So the kids, the why I wanted to work with kids, because in my mind, I started practicing gratitude when I was in my early 20s, and I thought, what if I was 10 years old or 15 years old when someone gave me my first gratitude journal? Where would my mind be at now? So I was like, I just want to work with kids. They are the future. They're going to be ones making the decisions in the future. So I think it's really important to just nurture their mind, especially with all of the craziness with social media and a lot of just stimulus out there for that we didn't really grow up with. Kids are really struggling with mental health, and so that's why I'm really focused on working with them. And it's really the feedback from the teachers is what keeps me going. It's the only word I have to describe it is magical, because I'm grateful to work with from kids as young as kindergarten up to 12th grade, and across all different demographics, public schools, charter schools, private schools. And it's just really strange and cool and awesome how like literally every single teacher gives the same exact feedback, and that's that they notice a significant difference in their kids' behavior and attitude, and especially how they treat one another. And a lot of them also specifically mention there's less bullying going on, which is some of my favorite feedback. And so yeah, just hearing that from the teachers is why I keep going with it.
That's amazing. So now we have ways to help out. So Teddy, we always ask people that are on the show to give us 3 tips that people that are watching can employ in their everyday life. So what are your 3 tips if you want to start creating a gratitude journal?
Well, just grab a pen and paper, and it doesn't have to be a fancy notebook. It just really just to be just pen and paper, and leave it somewhere in your house that you're going to see it every day. For me, I just left it by my bedside every night, and it was like my reminder. Okay, it's time to practice gratitude. So I think one of the biggest tips is just creating the environment to be able to be grateful, and maybe creating like a grateful nook in your house or something, and that's where you sit down every day to write down what you're grateful for. Yeah, just creating the environment around you to be able to be mindful and to practice gratitude.
Well, I love it. So great. That was such a nice conversation to have with you, and you're doing such great things for the kids and just for our future. I really appreciate you being on Liftoff.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Gene. I appreciate it too.
We're going to go back to the studio in a moment to bring you another great guest. Stay tuned.
Why do I look like this? You might be asking yourself. There's a good reason, and it's because I have brought one of my favorite people onto the show, Maureen Brody. She is the CEO and co-founder of Legends of the Spa, but more than that, she is the glam squad for Liftoff. She makes us all look beautiful every time we're on set, and she has over 25 years of skincare experience and a fabulous story about what got her into this business. We'll talk about all of that, but now she's going to help me de-stress through self-care. Maureen, thanks for
Thank
being in front of
you.
the camera.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so happy to be here to, like you said, help you de-stress today.
Okay, you know that you're the only human being on the planet that I would dress like this for ever in
I
general,
love it.
unless
I
I'm
love
going
it.
to the spa myself.
You still look
So, right,
fabulous. You
yeah,
look
good.
absolutely
Okay.
fabulous. So today we're going to be de-stressing because what a lot of people don't realize is that stress is the #1 negative contributor to skincare. Meaning, the more stress you have in your life, the more negative effects you have on your skin, and it can affect your skin in 3 major ways. You ready?
I'm ready.
So the first one is we know stress increases cortisol in our body. And in skincare, that contributes through inflammation. And that can come forth in a few different ways. So it can lead to irritants on your skin. It can inflame eczema, psoriasis, and any skincare condition. The second way is it increases oil production, so that leads to acne and breakouts, which is why before a major event, you tend to have breakouts on your skin when you're feeling a little extra stressed. And it also helps to speed up the aging process because it helps to break down collagen on your skin.
Oh,
So
well,
we
that
never
one
want that.
alone, yeah. Okay, I'm never going to be stressed again just for that reason alone. Okay.
Yes. So we can actually de-stress while taking care of our skin. The #1 reason why we hear that people don't have a meditation practice or a self-care practice is because they don't have the time. So if you're a busy professional or a busy stay-at-home mom, whatever it is, you lead a busy life, and I wanted to create something to help you incorporate your meditative practice into your daily habits, such as skincare.
Okay.
So we're ready?
We're ready.
We're ready. Okay. So we're going to walk through what I call a skincare meditation, and we'll start by doing a little cleanse.
Okay.
So we'll just pump a little bit of cleanser on there for you, and I want you to close your eyes
Okay.
and massage the cleanser into your skin. And as you do that, I want you to not only release the impurities on your skin, but release any thoughts that do not serve you. Start to take some deep inhales and exhales and release any stress that you may have in your life. Really start to increase the time of your inhale and your exhale just to slow down. And as we take the time to slow down in our life, we can actually speed up later because we're taking the time to clear our minds.
I feel better already.
Yes, you let go of all that stress, all that negativity in your life. And the next step we have is the toner. This is going to help to pH balance your skin. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, take a deep inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, I just want you to clear your mind, clear your thoughts, allow any thoughts to just drip down onto the earth as the toner helps to dissolve into the earth and dissolve into your skin. Just set that moment for you. And then the next step we have is our moisturizing. And as we moisturize, I want you to set an intention for yourself for the day. How would you like to come forth today into the world? And set forth a feeling of positivity and joy. So I call this step into joy. And just imagine feelings of joy, whatever your intention is for the day. Help this lotion just to massage that into your skin, but massage that feeling into your body as well. And this also helps to increase your confidence because as you're improving your skin, you're feeling a little bit better in the day. And this is your oil. So you can set your intention with a little bit of skincare oil or your SPF. So as you massage this last step into your skin, I want you to just go ahead and set that intention and actually visualize how you want that to come forth into the world today. And just taking those few moments to calm down and slow down helps you to speed up later because you gave your mind a few minutes just to relax, clear your thoughts, clear anything that doesn't serve you, and now you can actually be more productive as well throughout the day. So taking those 5 minutes is actually going to increase time throughout your day.
It's so simple. It's so amazing. I feel so much better. And it smells so good. So everything
Yes.
you create has aromatherapy built
It
into
does,
it.
it does.
to
So it
help us
has that
de-stress.
benefit for de-stressing as well. And then I also like to just create like a spa atmosphere at home as well, so that you can really just contribute to that. So if you can't actually get into a spa and have a professional do something for you, you can bring some crystals out, light a candle. We have some soap floral arrangements. So you can bring beautiful things into your life that just helps you feel good as you are creating these habits for yourself.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with everybody all of this great way, simple way, but really powerful way for mental wellness, for health, for mindfulness, and just to be great.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. And thank
Thanks,
you for having me.
Maureen.
I do have this meditation on our website too.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to go ahead and experience that at home, I can walk you through it. And we have that available at legendofthespa.com.
All right. Perfect. Didn't you love her as much as we do? We're never letting her go. But keep watching because you won't believe who's up next. We're joined now with Amya Zhanelle. She's a social media entrepreneur who has been featured in the Wall Street Journal. She has defied the odds of small business success. She's had her business for over 3 years now, and I'm so excited to talk to her. Amya, thanks for being on.
Hello.
So, Amya, just so everybody knows that's watching, you're not just a social media entrepreneur. You're my social media entrepreneur as well.
Yes, I
You
am.
started your career as an intern when I worked at a very large company on my team, and you chose to not stay with big business to become an entrepreneur. Why did you decide to do that right out of college?
Well, I didn't really have many job opportunities that were presented to me, and with my background in my business degree and some of what I learned in that internship, I felt pretty confident to just take a leap and go out on my own. So I did. It was amazing. I got featured in the Wall Street Journal, and things have just been skyrocketing from there.
So, I got to ask you, as a young entrepreneur, how challenging is it to continue to grow your business? Do you ride that same roller coaster that every other entrepreneur rides?
I mean, it's not the same journey for everyone, and I think one of the things you have to know is not to compare chapters. Me, we're almost 4 years into the business, and there's so many things that I'm continuously learning. But it's been up and down every time, but I still love what I'm doing, and I like to know that I get to learn more, and it's great.
Well, over those 4 years, I have watched your company grow and I've watched your expertise grow. And I feel like you just nail it, especially when it comes to social media, brand, and protection of name or identity. Tell us a little bit about why that's so important for any personality that or company that's looking to build a brand.
Well, the thing is, if you don't have that name, image, likeness, then you aren't going to be offered these brand deals and sponsorships that a lot of people are looking for to make more money aside from what they're already doing within whatever industry they're in. Um, Digital presence is key to being able to secure that. So if you have good photos, if you have somebody that's taking really good content of you behind the scenes on TV shows, things of that nature, then that's going to really um, push your digital presence forward. And, that is how you can get to have these big brand deals like seasoned celebrities and top athletes.
So, do you think everybody should invest in their brand if they're an expert in their field, even if they have a job at a larger or a mid-sized company? Or do you think it's only for people that want to go out on their own?
I think you need to invest in your brand in whatever you do. So, if you are somebody that's trying to go out and speak, if you're somebody that's trying to do a podcast, TV show, whatever the case, you need to make sure that you have a solid brand foundation. If you don't have that, then I mean, you don't have a landing page for people to find more about you and know about you and to expand that reach and get out there. So, make sure you are focusing on your brand itself, and that'll take you far.
All right, last question. I think I mentioned this on a previous episode. All right, last question. I think I mentioned this on a previous episode, but I'm scrolling through Instagram. I see this post. It says, fire your photographer. AI is going to take your pictures. I asked my daughter, she's like, oh no, it's very scary. It doesn't really work. Do you think AI is going to take over for social media creation in the near future? Or do you always think that you're going to need a person behind the AI?
I think AI is going to help make things easier in the long run, but I don't think it is something that's going to be substantial for or replace the human aspect of what we do in social and photography. I'm sure you've seen the apps that change or make your headshots and things like that. And it's some of them turn out nice, but not all of them do. So in that case, you do need a brand photographer that's going to really capture the essence of what you do, who you are, and that sort of nature. So
So smart. Well, I'm so appreciative that you do the social media behind the scenes for the show and so proud of all of the accomplishments that you've had with your business. We're going to keep having you come back on and we're just going to watch you continue to grow. Thanks
thank
for being
you.
on.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. You're going to love who we're speaking with next. If you work in business, especially in marketing, then you know how important it is to find the right person to talk about your brand, your business, and the impact that you're making. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to talk to that man who makes your business and your brand even more successful and more well known, Steve Olenski. Steve Olenski is a former Forbes journalist and the current host of the CMO Whisperer podcast. Steve, thanks for being on the show.
It is beyond my pleasure.
There are so many things that we can talk about.
Yeah.
You've got your own show. We've been in the same business forever, yet we only met each other in person, what, a year ago?
Less than a year ago.
Crazy.
Crazy. We've been in so many of the same conferences, probably around the world.
Yeah.
And I probably cut you in line to get coffee, and I know.
I probably pushed you out of the way.
Exactly.
But, I got to say, so we both run in this circle and we both knew of each other but didn't know each other. What is important in the world of marketing to stand out so that everybody knows who you are?
So it's going to be the ultimate cliche. I'm going to start with. But
Okay.
as I say, there's a reason cliches are cliches because they're so true. But everybody wants to be different. And then the next question, well, Steve, how do I be different? Well, the number one way to be different is really being true to who your brand is. What do you stand for? What are your goals? What are your values, right? Especially in today's world, you have to be completely transparent. Otherwise, the consumer will see right through it. So don't try to be something you're not. Don't chase the squirrel, as our mutual friend Bruce Hershey likes to say. Focus on the squirrel at hand. Don't chase the shiny new toy. Focus on what you stand for, what your goals are, your values, your ethics of that brand, and then your customers will really appreciate that.
And you've done over 3,000 interviews,
Mm-hmm.
or that's the last number that you gave me.
Yeah.
I fact checked it, so I know it's true. You've done over 3,000 interviews with leading marketers and leading business executives. Give me the top 3 things that you've learned.
Wow, that's a great question. Number one is CMOs, as you know, and because we're in marketing, are people too. It's such a big misnomer. People think you get to that level in a C-suite and everything's cool. You just coast, and you get to go to events and hobnobs with celebrities, and you just do all these glitzy and glamorous things. So number one off the bat is I learned very early in my Forbes career was we're all people. And again, I know that sounds so obvious, but everybody's got the same emotions. Everybody has good days, bad days. Number two, the world of marketing is constantly, especially in the digital age, especially now with AI, what is new right now is old in 30 seconds. So you better be up to speed on what's happening right now and have one eye what's to come. And then the third thing is CMOs and marketers and leaders are only good as their teams. You have to surround yourself with the right people. And I always reference a Steve Jobs quote. And he said, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
That's so cool.
You don't want to be, it's easy for me, but I'm self-deprecating. I'm never the smartest, but you know what I mean? But if you're the CMO and you're a leader and they're all looking to you and they're not giving you what you're looking for and telling you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear, either you have the wrong people or you're in the wrong room.
Fascinating. So I know you talk about all those tips. You get all those insights out on your podcast. Tell everybody the name of your podcast.
The name of the podcast is the CMO Whisperer Podcast. So the name came from about 15 years ago. I was interviewing the then CMO of Walmart, dear friend named Julie Lyle. And just like you and I are conversing right now, she said just in passing, Steve, you're like the CMO Whisperer. And I went, can you say that again? Like, what was that? And it just stuck. And I just owned it, literally and figuratively, trademarked it, the CMO Whisper, and that's the name of my show, and it's the name of my alter ego, if you will.
Yeah. Well, you've been owning it for a long time, and so many of us appreciate all of the conversations that you bring to light, all of the engaging conversations that you post on LinkedIn. We're always following you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It is my pleasure.
That's a wrap for this episode of Liftoff, but don't go away because we're going to be bringing you more great content very soon. Don't forget to follow us on social to find some more inspiration, great tips, behind the scenes access, and even more. See you next time.
The proceeding was sponsored by Liftoff Enterprises, LLC.